So if you were offered $1 million to create a deep fake of yourself, and then have intellectual property on it and all that, but you're going to never be able to do anything with your real self anymore. So you have to operate as your AI clone. Would you take it? Why? If yes, why not? Even though, I mean, of course, you can renew your contract, but you say like you have a record deal now. But record is not for yourself; it's for an AI clone of you.
So if I become president, what's going to happen?
Well, I mean, technically, you can't become president. AI clone can't become president. Would you take it?
Yeah,
What about you?
I think it would be fun, but the fun of it, I could.
Mm-hmm.
for life, you have to understand that it's for life.
Doesn't mean that I'm still existing as a person.
Yes, it's next of the person.
That cloning.
The creative, yes. And you think about it, you don't have to do any work. It's instructed. So, I want you to be an
For the
artist.
fun of it.
Somewhat easier.
Yeah.
Get to somewhat.
Just for the fun of it.
I don't want to do it.
Okay, so let's discuss this in depth. We're talking about AI and entertainment, and for entertainment, we're not restricting it to just music or just football also. But even though like there's not so much of AI going on. I mean, AI cannot play football for now, right? We just see it being used in terms of like VAR, and it actually, I find it annoying sometimes.
Are you sure I cannot play football? Though. Yes.
Yes, that's a good way to say it. I'd say yes.
So that, I don't know. I know it's coding, but it's gaming is not a form of artificial intelligence.
Oh yes, absolutely. Especially now that you have holograms, you can play in real time with people, and
creating your own player, all those stuff.
It's quite interesting. So, as someone who works now, this is directly to you, Icon. Someone who works largely with artists, events, concerts, and all. How do you feel about the new rise of AI? Because so now, media most times is divided into two scopes. There are people for it, and then there are people against it. So there are some people saying the AI bubble is going to bust. So you also get tired. Trends are changing. And some people are saying AI has not even started. What side are you on? And then how do you feel about it, especially in relation to what you do as a talent manager and all of that?
I'm always on the side of anything that makes me money. Please. Anything that fast tracks how we can do things and make money. Or maybe not just money, but also like just enhance how we behave as human beings. I'm always on the side of it. And I think AI is it's not a 5-year bubble. This has always been a thing. Like, it's advancing to time, but it's not even the 90s thing. AI has always been. Yeah, artificial intelligence has always been a thing, right? So I believe that it's a brilliant thing, and in different, of course, in Nigeria right now, we use the basic base level stuff, but I know that in the concept now, they deploy AI, humanoids to do stuff and to be able to map out lighting and all of those things like that. They actually use that, but we never we never get out. So I would love a world view where I'm able to get excellent work out because I have access to this type of tool. So definitely, it's not a bubble. I think it's something that is here to stay. It's always been. Google is a form of AI, and we've advanced from that to even deeper forms of AI. So definitely. Yeah.
Okay. So my next question is going to come to you also.
Okay.
As an influencer, do you like when? So I noticed in recent times when you want to post on Instagram or YouTube, something will ask you. There's a toggle. Is AI generated? Does that make you feel less creative when you have to toggle it on? What's your take on that? Would you rather just not indicate it? Just let people enjoy the content?
So it's a two-way thing, yeah? Because sometimes you create content to try a tool out. Like you just try the new tool. I can't call brands now, so and you're like, oh, this is cool. You thought like, okay, it's AI generated. Then when you want to use that tool for your own personal production. I know what this tool can do, and I know how it has enhanced my work. If I tell people, because right now the entire bubble around AI is it makes your work weak, it makes it look less human. But people forget that before this whole AI, which is just large language models, not actual like artificial intelligence. Because I started off as I'm an artist, I paint.
Okay.
So like when we moved from traditional paintings to digital paintings, I was stuck in the middle because I was like, digital art was somewhat easy to me. So I stuck with my traditional art, but then I later transitioned into digital art. So when AI, LLMs came up, I was like, cool, they make work easier now because I have stopped doing traditional art. I do digital art. And with AI, LLMs, I can produce faster works and push out. And it's still because AI were trained with human data. They are not made from fabricated stuff. It's not from the air. It's not fake data, it's human data. So now I have human data. I train on my own art. AI knows my art style. And I enhance my art style fast. I can produce, let's say before I could do like one painting a week. I can do 3 paintings a week. My work is better, it's faster. So yeah, for like I said, two instances. Sometimes when I try to, I will tell you I use this to this is AI generated, but when it's my personal work and I know the amount of effort I put into it, I don't want to tell you it's AI generated because I know people's perception of this is weak and this is lazy. That's where I stand on that.
Draw the line. Okay, great. So TNT, let's bring this home a bit. Because I know you have, aside being in the entertainment industry, I think you're a man of many hats. Like you do a lot of things. And recently, because I do have, actually not, I was going to say a little, but actually I do have a lot of technical background. And I have played with one of your tools. Before I think I even gave feedback at some time. Yes. And because of my technical, I actually kind of reverse engineered your product. I saw some tech stack you used, and I could see the influence of AI. Like you really took advantage of it, and it worked. It's working, right? How did that make you feel? Do you think you were being smarter? Because well, I don't know if everybody feels that way. So sometimes for me, I get bored when I try something out, and which is why currently on my phone I have subscription for like 4 different LLMs. So I'm using Cloud, I'm using Gemini, I'm using ChatGPT, yes, and I'm using Manus. 4 of them. Crazy, right? But because I get bored, I'm like, this is too simple. I feel like every other person will be able to use it. So at the time when you started, developing tools with AI, did you ever feel bored? Did you ever feel like, man, the next person might just catch up with me? Let me move to the next, let me look for the next. Especially for someone who, I'd say you enjoy complexity.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So did you ever feel that?
So I think that at the end of the day, there's nothing new under the sun. So in as much as human beings, we feel like we have unique ideas, it's definitely still a bounce off of something someone has created
Done
before.
Yes.
Of course, we just continue to evolve, ideas continue to evolve and all of that. So I think that using AI to enhance whatever you're doing is a plus for you, definitely, because it makes work easier. It makes it faster. It might not be easier, but it makes it faster. Because I've been on this journey of producing the productivity tool.
Yes.
And I've been on this journey of designing it for about 6 months right now. Before then, I've been passionate about this, and I've been working on it for years. I can backdate it to like 3 or 4 years. But getting an AI tool that would develop an app really easier for me. Of course, it might not. I don't even think that it might be exactly less expensive because it's AI tool. You have to subscribe.
Oh, you subscribe? Yes, you pay tokens,
pay and all of that. So, but we are still spending money, but you're getting results faster than you would for a traditional approach. So I think that the advantage of making it easier, because a lot of people are of this craze that somebody can wake up. Trust me, somebody can wake up and create a Facebook tomorrow.
Yeah.
Anybody
Yeah.
can.
Absolutely.
The resources are there. Anybody can do whatever you're doing online. But the difference is your own approach, your own experience, the experience that you put into it. The reason why we are on multiple social media platforms that are probably doing the same, because every social media platform is to do one thing, connect people together. I can message on TikTok I can message on Snapchat. I can message on WhatsApp.
Absolutely.
Now, WhatsApp is not even crazy. You can add story, add music, add.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can do it on all of these platforms. You can, but the experiences are different. You know, I find that that's what makes you different from other people. The kind of experience that you put into your So it applies to even music. It applies to art. My dad happens to be a fine artist, and so when he was speaking, it just made me click. I remember how my dad used to paint. You know, he loves to paint. Things that are very cultural. So he used to paint Ayo back in the day. He used to paint masquerade, paint a scenery of a city side or something. And I see how every time he has to replicate that art, it's always different. You can never create the same two art space because but that's what AI will do for you nowadays, you know.
So this
and
thing you
stuff
said,
like that.
this thing you said, it's quite interesting that you said that because now that's going to bring me to the next thing I'm going to discuss. Has anybody ever tried generating an image or something of a Nigerian man with AI?
Oh my god.
It's yes. Do you do you feel, because I think was it about 2 weeks ago or so, my wife was telling me that I think we need to make, I don't like how ChatGPT sounds like always has a foreign accent. Can ChatGPT not have a pidgin accent? Can you not make it? And I'm like, this is an idea, but I'm sure somebody somewhere is working. I spoke to my friend who's an AI engineer, and they was like, yeah, I think some guys are working on it, but he's not so sure, right? So there's a high chance that culturally we could lose some of the, like you said, every time your dad paints something, it's not the same thing. But with these AIs, sometimes we are misrepresented. How do you feel about that? How does that make you feel?
Especially with AI music.
Especially with AI music. Yeah. I mean, that's quite dicey now, because some people would say that they are similarly making it with an AI artist signed with $3 million deal.
Yeah.
Recently, and
it's topping the charts.
And they are topping the chart, right? Yes, but how do you feel about the misrepresentation, and how does it make you feel? Right?
I don't think AI is the problem. I think it's just something. AI is not the problem, because if we have a lot of information out there, it's going to pick it and learn from it, right? So, but we don't have a whole lot of information or data that you could actually pick from. So I don't think that's the problem. I don't think the machine is the problem. I think it's
The people.
Yeah, the people. How many people have access to the internet in Nigeria or stable electricity? I think we're always forgetting that we're in a bubble. The amount of people that are interconnected part time in Nigeria and in general Africa, they are not a lot. They are not a lot if you look at it. So it has a very, very what's it called? Very, very small pool to pick from. And from that pool is going to pick what it feels like. Yeah, Internet of Things, and you see how much the guys in Europe are connected. So it's easy for you to pick from listening from your Amazon Prime down to this, down to that. You can always get information quickly. But we as Africans, we don't have. How many people in Ibadan can know about AI?
Please don't do that.
That's where the problem is. It's not necessarily the fact that it cannot. There's misrepresentation.
Okay.
It's still the same problem of what white people think that Africa is a country. Those type of. It's because they don't have the right information, the data. We are not pushing it intentionally out. So if more people get to actually get more things on the on those internet, get more things there. I feel like it's going to learn from it. So those guys built what they are building, for example,
like
get
using
to them.
Okay, that's interesting. So, Oswald, do you think AI threatens? Great thing you said, John Francis. Do you think AI threatens your income as a foreign artist? Okay, now you said you had to go to digital art. So I believe digital art, you're still having to draw things yourself, right? Yes. So do you think AI threatens that for you?
Yeah, it did through NFTs. So NFTs transitioned humanity from good art to what we call shit art. So shit art was non-artists who just create a painting and sell it.
Add some value to it.
And just sell it. people stopped valuing us and we're going for them because of the whole, oh, you are free, you can create. Anybody, I believe anybody can create, but not everybody's an artist.
Yeah.
Being an artist is personal. You are born an artist. You don't learn how to be an artist. But you can learn how to draw well, learn how to paint well. But being an artist, you are born with it. So that way, the whole shit art pushed good art back. People started buying shit art with the expectation of one day become too big. NFTs crashed. Now we have AI art, AI generated art. And the thing is with AI art, like I said, AI is, for me, it enhances my art. So for someone who doesn't know how to use it, it won't enhance the art. So for me, I could use it to earn more,
To even increase your
Yes,
income rather than
rather than
interesting.
because I know how to use it for myself. So that's
Okay, good. So personally, I'm one of those people that I got exposed to internet really, really early, right? I think even before 10, started building games and all that. And so I've never been scared of what the capability of the internet is. In fact, I believe there would be an AI revolution. And as a matter of fact, I want to be one of those contributing AIs by then. Yes, I'm not, I promise you, I'm not scared of it. But I hear people saying things like they're scared of, just things, some of these trends where you have to upload your picture to a generative model and then it gives you something and all. Yeah, so do you think Nigeria needs like specific laws, or AI should be seen as just a tool, like the way guitars and cameras are like? So do you think we should be more strict with the laws and things that, or everybody should just have their free creativity,
Yeah,
free access?
I think, of course, we should be stricter with laws because when there's no law, there's no order, and things are probably misused because if we're not careful, we get to a point where it's be hard to tell, the difference between when something is real and when something is fake.
Or isn't that where it's going? Isn't that like, because like what
That's
Icon
why-
said earlier, if we
Yeah.
start educating people more, and isn't that where we eventually
Yes,
get
and
to?
that's why we have to have rules that govern some of them, some of these things. Because when there are laws or rules, like I said, it's to bring in order, and people would sort of like have a block to what can be done and what can be done. Because if we're not careful, we find ourselves in a situation where people are being misrepresented online, which is already happening already. And so there has to be rules that guide, those kind of behavioral patterns, especially around music, for instance. I know that concerning music, most of these AI tools are bringing up laws, against plagiarism, against misrepresentation. For instance, if you're familiar with an AI tool called Sonar, if you put in an artist that is like a proper artist, you put in maybe their sound to try to replicate it, it will not allow you to do that, right? So I know that for like there's so many globally, there's so many tools also that have been created to fight against the misrepresentation or the misuse of AI tools. So I think it's important to have laws, that guide us, because it's just normal. People would misuse things. I've been seeing videos where people are technically transforming themselves into other people using an AI tool, and it looks believable. So imagine you're on a phone call with that person, and the person converts into like a white lady.
As a matter of fact, when I used to make
Take
music,
advantage of it.
when I used to make music, I think this was sometime 2021. I was video called by Fab Joe, and I went bonkers.
So
That night it was crazy. They called my mother, yo, Fat, and my mom is, she loved old school. She like, Fat Joe called you. And the next thing the girl was like, do I have Bitcoin?
Don't be fast.
That's a fast Joe. Right? That's fast Joe, right? Yeah.
So you get the point. Like, so it gets to that point where people, if we're not careful, we'll be having situations like this.
Yeah.
So we have to like create things that govern that kind of makes.
But then it's, with that situation, like it's kind of hard to draw the line. Especially what Icon said. Icon said you need to feed more data,
Yeah.
right? So if you are restricting access to it and all, then how?
Those are not restricting access. You're creating laws that govern how it's being used. right? So of course we get to a point. I'm just like we get to a point where if AI speaks Yoruba for you, you think there is one guy from Saleh or one thick Yoruba. Like we get to that point because things will always evolve. Human beings, the way we are created is that we would always evolve. Like the experiences, luckily for some of us millennials, we saw when we had no internet. I saw when the highest I could watch was a video on a floppy disk, like 3 seconds. I was super excited. I remember the used to have those
3
very
megabytes.
short-
Or
Yes,
something, yes.
and you just maybe a referee handing out a yellow
Yellow
card.
card.
And those are like things we saw at videos. Now today I'm here, I'm watching hours long, I'm consuming
It's key.
content. We'll get to the future where things I can't imagine
What's gonna
will happen in the future. So we are open to all of these things. How do we govern it? How do we,
So
guide that experience?
I have a question related to what you're saying now. So there was a trend happening, I think last month or early this year. It was rock. People would tell people to create the new version of people's pictures.
Yeah.
It became very rampant. So maybe could you like shed light on that? What do you think about that? What's the future like in terms of the negative effects of that using AI?
Yeah, so I saw a news today. I didn't follow through with it, but I know that it was something about I think people's data that were already leaked, people that were probably putting out maybe a new picture of themselves, and there was a site that leaks out those kind of pictures from the data cloud. I really didn't read on it, but it seemed like something like that, right? And I know that there are certain AI tools that if you ask to develop a nude picture or a nude video, they wouldn't. Like it's very like you don't have capacity to do that. And also know that there are other tools that allow you to
To do that.
So in the advent of this, I strongly believe that there are gatekeepers that can control what we consume on the internet. There are gatekeepers there are rules and there are laws, guiding how these tools are being used, what internet can be taken down. I mean, in this our Nigeria, I've been shut away from Twitter before.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Right? So I strongly believe that there's nothing that is not possible, in terms of guiding the rules and the laws and creating those things. But it's just how people that are in those places, how they are serious about maintaining a sane society. So it's just it's a function of really creating laws, creating tools also that fight, just the way we had viruses. We're human beings that were creating viruses in the era of viruses. People created viruses. I'm saying computer viruses. Even else viruses.
Because virus, please. I mean, we don't know this.
And then they will create the viruses and they will now create antiviruses.
Antivirus.
So we can always create tools that counter. Listen, like I said, there are tools. AI, if you put on Gemini, for instance, you try to recreate a nude picture, Gemini will not create it. But I know that there are tools. We've seen a lot of AI accounts in the internet that you see almost half naked women that have been created by AI tools. How do we flag those things? How do we, always get them flagged, always get them, deleted? So once the gatekeepers are willing, so there's a time that on Twitter you could not have half naked people, but now you have like full porn on Twitter. On Twitter, but and that's because the gatekeepers have allowed it, in a way. So once we have people that are on the forefront and tackling these things with tools, with softwares, with policies also that you can't say this kind of words, you can't do these kind of things I think that solves the problem.
So to add to what you're saying, I think it would be on when you say gatekeepers, I think that's kind of vague, and I would like to be more direct as to what the role the government has to play. The lawmakers.
Also, the government, lawmakers,
yes, government,
even
lawmakers.
I actually think that
the developers,
that we give a lot of what's it called, agency to the government and lawmakers as well. But for things like AI, is that we need to understand that it's not a tool, it's the people. Human creativity will always be human creativity, and people would go to the extremes.
of course,
Always, like any extreme, both the extreme for good and extreme for bad, right? And one thing is always that when things like that happen, fellow humans to rise up and actually
Absolutely.
build things that would actually
Counter.
help those extremes.
I mean,
Do you understand what I'm saying? So you would see that when Google became a thing, and people were what was it called? They were going up and lifting. I'm even saying back in the day in the university now, people were lifting past projects and using it as theirs and blah blah blah. People started creating stuff that could actually check for plagiarism.
yes.
So just think about
I mean,
it.
even
like
for
Even with
still
AI now,
SEO.
yeah, so,
when you
they
try
are
to
always
create,
going to be.
like,
It's not just the
check.
government, because when the government usually when the government gets involved in things like this, it now becomes like a rebellion thing that you're trying to actually reduce
Yeah,
our speech, freedom of speech, and stuff like that. Right. So it's usually that the best way is that creativity fights creativity. Like your own evil creativity, my own good creativity gets to fight.
So I think this is like the whole concept of ethical hackers.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. So it's not really AI. It's the
So
people.
as an entertainment manager now, say AI could affect creativity and unpredictability for artists when they replicate all of that. Do you think, to the point where audiences could not tell the difference, do you think entertainment would still mean anything if we knew it wasn't born from human beings?
I think it's still born from human beings.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
Because
like me, I'm going to. I'm still going to stay on my fact that it's how creative you can get.
So I do have a rebuttal for that because there's certain music I listen to and I can promise you I'm not listening to that music because the music stands out or because of the person.
Yeah, no.
Because
To his
of the
question,
personality.
he was not asking about creating music now. Creating the art in itself. It was more of pushing the art, advancing the art.
Yeah.
Totally. I'm not.
So I want to believe
I think you
that.
said as a music executive.
Yeah, I want to believe that where your approach is when maybe we get to a point that maybe we have an AI artist. Now AI is still limited to streams and digital. Maybe we get to a point where we now have holograms. We have them already, but when it's perfected and then they can perform or they can actually sing and you can't really tell the difference between am I watching an AI artist or am I watching
I'm really not worried about that because at the end of the day, there's a human story that people are looking for, like you said. These songs, right, they would really break the chart and do what they need to do,
Yes.
but they'll remain pop. They'll most likely remain pop. Things that people can dance to. But people are looking for stories, real stories, real things, connections, human connections, and they would always look for that more than whatever it is that the AI will definitely make money for people. I'm not saying that it's not going to drop bangers. Definitely, it's going to do that, and I don't think that I don't like it. I don't think I will listen to it actively. There are some songs that you never catch me, listening to or playing or even. But it's in my head now. I don't even know how to. Constant about
dissonance.
yes. So, but what I'm saying is that for people, right, generally, they are going to continue looking out for the human stories. Now, the human story now can now be elevated with AI. Because I remember there was a performance that happened. I'm not sure if it was Jay-Z now. That there was an hologram that was performing before he came up. So people thought it was the one that was performing. There was an hologram.
In fact, I think even as far back as Michael Jackson.
Yeah, Michael Jackson did the same thing.
Yes.
Michael Jackson did the same thing. So he started using that and it came from within the crowd. So it's something that it just elevates the experience. It elevates the experience for people and all of that. I believe in using that for elevation of experience. Elevating even your style or things that you want to do, right? But not innately creating overriding the stories that people would use to create. That's why when you were saying that Sono, you put in an artist style that does not want to reproduce that. That's something. And if you're even using some platforms now to upload your music, they would ask
you, is it AI? Yeah, that's why I asked him the question, like, do you want that freedom?
But in a world where AI is now generally accepted and is making life easier, do you think we would lack originality in the future, in the nearest future, as artists?
To add to that question, right, just to purchase that question, because now,
that's for both of you, music and
because I now can even go into so if you understand LLMs, you understand that different AIs have different strengths. If you want to sound more human, use Gemini, use Cloud. If you want to sound more, if you want to be more technical, use ChatGPT for this exactly. So I can actually go to one LLM and tell it to help me create a prompt
To give to
this to. So to your point now, right? Just to buttress that his point. So if I'm able to tell this to help me become creative, in fact, sometimes when I want to write for marketing, maybe I want to write, I would reference certain people. Myron Golden, who's it this the way this person would analyze this.
But do you know that? That's how our brain work.
Yes, but that's you.
But I think I'm stripping originality.
No,
It's just we're like, well,
So-
what's this?
That's you that's the work that you're doing, right? Aside from that, I honestly think that the effect of AI, as it were, is being, I don't want to say manipulated, but it's being actualized by the efforts that people are making. So if you tell AI to create a marketing document for you, thank God you use marketing as an example, is to create things that is familiar with, things that somebody has probably created before, even like with the reference. Yeah, it might tune it for you based on maybe some prompts that you put in, but it's to create those things for you. It has done maybe half of the work. So now up to you to say, okay, I've created this prompt, I've created this idea. How do I make it even stick better with how do I impute the soul into it? How do I make it tell stories? How do I make because the challenge we're having is people just taking those prompts and dumping it.
Dump it.
You
It's not like I can see through it.
you still need to have that, I was saying something the other day. We're having a conversation around AI, and it was like, it sees AI like, how we used back in the days in agency, we used to have like a round table, and you'd be bouncing ideas off yourself. That's how it sees AI, just bouncing ideas off.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you still need to put that human touch in it. And that's why I think that whatever AI, whatever thing, where may I stand, whatever thing you're creating now, that doesn't have the human touch, that doesn't have a soul to it, that doesn't have that connection, that doesn't have the stories that people can connect to, it's still going to crash at the end of the day. Because people are looking for real stories to connect with. That's why even with the internet, social media is always trying to, retune the way the algorithm.
Yeah. So
Why do you think that? Why do you think that when
Yes,
people, when, for example, a song is like trending and people find out it's there and they're like, oh, it's like, I didn't know it was there.
and then
It's because they're like, oh, I thought I was connected to a story, but there's no story behind it. This is machine generated. But at the end of the day, this is what I think, that people actually are the ones that you are the one that actually create whatever it is. So there's this movie I'm trying to reference, but I can't remember it now. That where the guy uses this LSD thing, right? Where he uses this drug and his brain power just goes poof. I've forgotten the guy's name now. Huh? Limitless. That's just it. We have these things in our head, right? Like we want to create, but you just need you need your brain to actually open up and all of that. That's what AI does sometimes for people, for the art, for I have an idea for this. It helps you to expand your worldview. But see, this is for 10% people. There are people that are not in the 10%. They are not creators. They are not people that do things. They are people that consume. They are the ones that pack something and go and put it somewhere, and they want to do the same thing. Now somebody has given you something at work to employ somebody to do an artwork for you. Or I have ChatGPT and I paid for it. You create something useless by the end of the day because you don't even understand the rudiments of what you are creating. But when an artist uses that same thing,
it's different.
Very, very different.
It's different.
So you understand what I'm saying? That it's not really about.
I think you said that in that the reference you made, marketing. You tell people to create good market strategy, and you will see it, and you just like, come on, man.
There's some you see also. There are some people you see that they used AI.
You know that,
but you're fine with it.
Because you can see the thought process that they actually
see the extra process. You can see the extra.
So it's not really about it.
So for an embarrassing story when it comes to AI. So back in 2024, I have this project because I work in tech, so I do geospatial mapping and stuff like that.
Do you not do, sir?
Sorry?
What do you not do, sir?
So I actually have a spatial intelligence company I'm building. I have a team of 7 or 8 persons.
Interesting.
So we are building that. So yeah, I got this job. It was concerning insecurity in the country. So we had to map out suitable places in Zamfara State where the government could implement a strategy. And then I did work, me and my team. And then someone on my team was like, oh, he couldn't handle his part. So I was like, let me give him something else so he can feel part of the team. So I did the entire processing of data, major works, because it's my work. Then I gave him the entire breakdown, what I did. I told him, write the report for me.
I can imagine.
Then the issue was me giving him that breakdown was letting him know that read this breakdown. What is in the project brief is not what is in the breakdown, because the project brief is what the client thought would work. We now realize that when it comes to the Nigeria hemisphere, data is 0 or close
So you
to
didn't
0.
have enough.
So I didn't follow that script. What I did was I had to go to Google Maps. I combed through the entire state using news resources. So wherever there was an attack, I'll search on the map where that place was, pick it, and use it to build the database and the entire process. So that was like a different workflow from what was in the brief. Everything was down. I took screenshots of what I saw as proof on Google Maps and all of that. So I gave him all this, and then I gave him the brief, like use the brief to have the idea, but then use this breakdown to know what was done. He gave me the report, and it was the brief in 7 or 9 pages of the brief. It was Easter Sunday. That was my parents because I went back to the work landed. And oh, cool. I was in church just opening, and my mood went from 100 to 0. But
Because you could tell.
that was like, what's the problem? Because he knew what was going on. We're like, is it the work right? And because he told me, this nigga this person is going to, mess you up.
Let's do what's up.
Let's say like that word.
Yeah, we were told like, be wary of this person. He's going to mess you up.
No, I'm not doing when I said the F.
No.
Oh.
That's why I
Alright,
yeah.
I'm going to be like I left school.
But like going to mess you up and all that. And then he did. And my dad was like, I told you, see, I told you so. So I had to go back. Sunday, like Easter Sunday.
To make I think he used AI to create.
Yes, it was
just
AI, like bullshit AI, not just like he just gave the AI the brief and said, give me a report.
Yeah.
So he didn't use your report. Your report.
Yeah.
So
It happened to me a couple of days. So I gave someone an audit for a brand, and he did an audit for this brand, and the audit said the brand had 16K followers, but the brand actually had 24K followers. Just like, why did you go and read? Like, pay attention to
Pay attention to details. I think if I was that person, right? Well, yeah, I mean TNT will say it's originality, right? For me now, it's coming from somebody who had learned how to code some maybe like 10 years ago, had learned how to do this, do that. This looks like easy work now, right? So I'll literally pick the reports, take the brief, put it together, and I'll tell the AI. So the brief is from so country, but I did not have that access. This report is this. Help me generate this.
when we generate it,
Yeah.
there might still be some data that are not correct. So your responsibility is to look at it and read and ensure that
Even if those gaps.
Yes. Yeah.
So yes, there's one interesting thing. Right. The way that I program my LLMs, Jesus Christ. First of all, don't give me anything that is not in my. I get everything context, like that's rules. So I can go as simple as just generate microservices. It will not look generic because of the back work that I have done in the personalization.
I get
So
that's what you said. You said the back work.
that's the back work. So
That's what needs to be done. At the end of the day, you still need that work. Whether it's a personalization or even a post personalization.
still work. You've still done put in some form of work.
The only thing is that, like, I just like I said, I just think, and that's the value that we need to hold, especially as millennials, going to even Gen Z is going to the next generation. We need to make them see the value of paying attention to details. I was working on a project one time, and of course, we generated just like a proposal for something, and I've generated like so many English and so many grammar. And I remember going to science office, and we sat down. There are like baby boomers, so they are older folks, and they do things with the T. And we're correcting every single word to apostrophe to, like, they were correcting every single word, every single sentence, every single perspective. Oh, think about it this way, think about, so in as much as AI gave me the template, or the story or whatever arrangement, we still need
It's up to you to
work,
do the work.
to ensure that it's adjusting. So for me, for instance, building my productivity tool, I do a lot of regenerations per time because in process of using it, and that's why recently I started to get everybody in my office to integrate with the app, because the more people use it, the more it's showing. I'm getting feedback, I'm seeing gaps, I'm seeing things like that can make it work. So those are the efforts that you put.
Speak a little about that. Speak a little about like your app, what the process was, and maybe something someone can pick from.
So like I said, it was a thing for me, right? I'm someone that likes productivity and organization as it were. So I've always done this with like my phone. If I start with papers, having to always have a to-do list, having a timetable, writing stuff, writing tasks, arranging stuff. So that has always been like a thing I'm passionate about. I transitioned into using Notepad, transitioned to using Excel and documents, and having folders, having just so many things, right? So the idea for me was to bring all of these things together into one. So it was supposed to be like a super app. I've used a previous tool, Notion, to create, a template, but it was super complicated.
Scary. Notion's the idea.
But you're selling out in a way.
Oh yes,
And people are using them.
People are using it.
But my idea was to now, take this template that I created and make it like a very compact, put all the ideas. The idea is to get people to be able to, create their habits, track their habits, track their health, organize, track their finances, track travel, sort of like make it as compact as possible, and they are very interconnected. So for instance, if you create a meeting for today on my app, and you create a meeting and you put on your calendar, the day that you create that meeting is automatically appear in your task for the day. So those kind of things are like my own personalization that makes experience that makes it different. So I think that's why I say again that the experience that you put into it makes it different. So one of the things I'm trying to build now, for instance, is with the financial tracker. Most financial apps or trackers that we have, you have to manually input your transactions into it. I know that there are some apps that are trying to get, of course in Nigeria we have so many restrictions, policies, but we're trying to see how we can take like people's actual financial banks, so that when they make transactions on their phones, they don't necessarily have to come and make the input again on the app. So it automatically just puts it on the app. And why are you smiling like that? Like
No. I want to give you an idea actually.
So you see that. So but we'll talk about that later. But that's my point. So you have to put that's where the human perspective is. Not just like I just see that now people just want to make money. Somebody they see an ad, oh, I made $20,000.
So company raised. But this doesn't it does my heart so much. I'm not even gonna lie.
I can just open an AI tool and create an app and and make money.
Unlovable.
Once you're able to personalize it as much, put the human experiences, put the human touch. Like so for me, another thing for me is building the app is just more than just even you as a person. We included a community system into it.
Yes,
where
the leaderboard.
Yes, the leaderboard as a gaming experience. So those kind of things makes you see that okay, this person is thinking about it much more than just I want to make money from building a digital product. I want to create an experience for people.
Great.
Okay, so my goal today for this section would be entertainment now. Okay, so there's an artist in Nigeria that made an AI album. I don't know if you heard of it. Eclipse made it. Shout out to Eclipse. He made an AI album. It circulated. I don't know if it went mainstream, but it was actually a big deal at the time. Now, is that some kind of motivation for the younger ones to come, or is it a distraction?
For me, it's your creativity, whatever it is. I don't know how. I've not listened to it. I'm just getting what's in it. So I don't know if maybe it has a conceptual angle to it or something. So I'm not going to say anything.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I think TNT had already spoken about Life Organizer, which is his tool, which AI has helped him, work on all of that. And so, can you talk about like any projects that you have? One good thing that AI is doing for you in your business or in your. Now, this is for both of you. I think yes. One good thing. Just talk about the project and let's know what sentiments.
Okay, so right now I'm building a product called Helper. What Helper is, it links you and I with persons who run errands and artisans for us. So anything you need help with, you should find a helper. You need someone to mow your lawn, you need someone to watch your kids, pick your kids from school, someone to fix your tap, fix your lights. If you're in school, you need someone to tutor you, someone for your project assignment and all of that. Anything you need someone to do, like a tax rabbit per se. So you get the concept.
So how's that different from Upwork?
So Upwork is focused on digital skills.
Okay, so this is
We is both
physical
and digital. So anything you and also errands. So anything you need someone to help you do, you should find someone on Helper at negotiable prices.
Okay. So how are you integrating AI? How is that helping?
Okay, so now we are integrating AI in terms of communication because we want our app to be used by everybody. In terms of, we don't want it to be too technical, but it's technical in the sense of we're using AI to translate audio to text.
Okay.
So some persons who don't know how to text, like our, let's say, lesser educated persons,
Even the artisans themselves are not so
educated, so we could just speak and translate to text to them. And we are trying to. So you mentioned the gap of Nigerian African-based models to for our own perspectives. So they're actually a couple who are building in that space. So we are working with them. So because we already have like Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo.
Okay.
Then we have Swahili, another African language. So, but the issue is the intonation. It still stands out. Like it still doesn't sound as deep as it should. But if you speak Yoruba to it, it knows it's transcribes English. Interesting. So want our users to be able to speak Yoruba to it and gives you English. You get
Interesting.
that's what we're using.
Okay. Okay, icon.
Yeah, I just use AI. I just use normal.
Like an everyday user.
Yeah, but like we were saying earlier that sometimes it just helps us to we're producing something and we didn't have the trumpeter in the studio and we just had to whistle into the mic and the AI converted it into
the trumpet.
Yeah, into saxophone actually.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we use that. Eventually down the line we'll get a real saxophonist, but at least we got the idea of what exactly we're trying to create with that sound in the moment. So those are some use cases.
But then, do you think there's any need if it gave you what you wanted? Is there really any need?
It's not just the soul.
Sometimes
the soul that you saw.
If you hear the real
if you have to play live performance.
Yes.
It's not even that. It's more.
I'm just even saying that.
Doesn't have to say new royalties. You don't have to share it.
You don't have to share royalty.
Well,
I mean,
it just depends on what you're trying to.
So personally,
you can decide to.
Some people use it.
Create the avenue for
people.
You can decide to say that you want to, because at the end of the day, it's your mindset. If you are getting an instrumentalist on your sound, it means that definitely you have to pay. For royalties
and music artists, it's that sound we got from AI. Once you give your saxophonist,
they know
now build
what to do.
They know what to do.
And from scratch.
So they are not even creating
original. At the end of the day, it's how you decide to say it. Essentially, it's a tool to make your life easier.
So for me, I think the peak of it is going to be the peak of the internet and AI and technology at large. It's just going to be when you can download food. When if I'm able to, I want to eat Jamala, and then they can come, they download that.
But it's really you that.
So would you? I feel like some fifth. What was I bringing back? But anyways, I feel like some years ago, it must have been impossible to imagine that we would fly. Something that big we be able to fly. In fact,
and airplanes still remain one of the biggest miracles.
Right. So I was listening to a sermon
Not necessarily sharp, but
Yeah, it is.
I was listening to
I agree. But I'm saying but I'm saying that the possibility, because possibility comes from imagery. The possibility has always been there for us, and that's why airplanes look like birds. There are certain things that.
Do you know there's imagery for downloading for the song?
Oh yeah, now show me now.
There's a cartoon. Who knows this cartoon?
No, that's
With Charles Meatball. So see,
That was
from
somebody-
things like
that
that.
was somebody's imagination.
It's possible like that.
That's what I
So if you look at 3D printing and stuff,
it's like 3D printing.
You're already-
You will get to a point
already
where
in line.
you just need to have certain things in your
you
house.
just need to have
Have the ingredients.
But that is
You wouldn't have the ingredient.
no,
You can't download.
But that's
have
the thing.
You can't download.
You can't download
You can't be so
physical
sure.
things now.
You can't be so sure. Okay, so now there are things called regenerating cells. You can make just one small cell and then it
So
becomes
you want to chop
full length.
regenerated rice.
So
and this leads to me to what I was saying about my fear
I'm not there
about
with you.
technology, the internet, totally for what that the uniformity of humanity, and this is what I mean. So let's just go a little bit theological about this. The scripture where those guys were trying to build the Tower of Babel, and God was like, "Nah, I'm not having this." People felt like the reason why he didn't want the Tower of Babel was because they were trying to build to God. But I don't think that was right. It was more of the fact that groupthink, where the person at the top of the tower can tell everybody down that this is what it is and that's what it's going to be.
Yeah,
Do you understand what I'm saying? So they have one language. That was why the first thing that he attacked was the language. Now with technology, internet, AI, all of these things, you see that everybody's gravitating towards understanding the same things at the same time. And whatever one person wants you to know, if they can feed the internet well, you can know it. Now we want to eat regenerated food. Do you understand that we as Africans, there are things that are actually that fit our palate better than the guys out there.
Yes.
But when this kind of things happen, it now makes everything homogeneous and all of us are consuming the same thing. Then humanity now starts melting into one. And that is the Tower of Babel course or whatever it is. And that is my own major fear about it. So I always would be one of the people that would continually preach that you have to allow local creativity to thrive.
Yes.
Like local creativity has to thrive. Local solutions for local problems. Then you can scale it internationally. Maybe other people need it. But ensure that you are continually find. That's why you say, "Oh, Afrobeat is getting out of hands," and I still believe that it's an important part of us. It's an important, and we need to keep it within us because it's not going to be like. So when we start importing other things into our system, it just changes how we behave. We are people that dance. That's our style.
We are people that dance.
So when you want to make us into jazz people, we're already taking something out of our lives. So that's what I mean by, this is my major fear about the internet. It's not just putting your pictures on or blah, blah, like that. I feel like,
It's the way we are.
I feel like one way or the other, you are giving everybody your access. No matter how, except you are not interacting with technology at all. Like you're not, and no, you won't
Accept cookies.
you won't even go collect visa yourself. You go enter your biometrics, you go enter details like that. So there's no how that people you would not still give your information out one way or the other. But you see this part of what I said, that's my own fear. Like, now, and you notice that the human body is changing. Like somebody mentioned something sometimes back, and I looked at it and she said that men don't have Adam's apple again. And you would notice that like 90s, early 2000s, like Adam Apple was like, you would see it go come out like this. Some men still have it, but it's not like as prominent.
It used
to be.
And I don't know, for some reason, it used to be teachers. It used to be
It's not as prominent as it used to be. And you will see that it's all about the things we eat, the things we come in contact with, and all of those stuff. It's what makes all of us what it is. Before we know the chop spaghetti, everybody get down for house now. Nobody eats noodles in Nigeria. I remember growing up, we didn't really have noodles until maybe late 90s. That was when it became like a popular thing. But now it's like everything that everybody eats. That's the homogeneous thing that I think that we should avoid as people, not necessarily the privacy thing.
So here, one brings food chat, and I'll eat.
But you go chop am.
You will shout.
You go chop am.
Because I can imagine maybe my grandfather traveled. Someone from there saying like, imagine this thing flying, like maybe chariots. They can't
I feel like
there'll be a fear.
Well-
Or television. I mean, so
The television is even too far. Just use your television. That's closer to us.
because I don't know how true these stories were. I've heard of stories that colonial masters when they came to Nigeria.
To use mirror.
They used mirror,
Yes,
all those things. And so you can
like-
imagine like I would like to see myself in. I really don't like to.
no, of course I understand what you're saying, but there are just some things that
From
even
you,
what key the agenda.
I promise you there is nothing.
That's a road to
But I don't think that.
reducing the population of
I don't think there's nothing because I don't want to mention the name, but there's somebody whom all of us in this room knows. One of the richest men in the world.
I know we are talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You know that agenda. You know.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, we don't.
Everyone just came to one
No, but my
consensus.
point-
Hey, you go, we know that person.
But
And he has
my
one
point-
agenda.
Yeah.
And that part. Wait, okay, I think we might be thinking of two different people. This particular one, it's not even in the tech space.
I know. So
So now you know what I'm going to show you. Your food. Population. You
But that's
like,
what I'm saying. That's why God don't allow the agendas.
I think it's in the Bible.
It's very simple.
John saw locusts now. He said the locust wings was as loud as. He didn't know it was helicopters. He didn't know it was fighter jets.
a lot of things that were in Revelation.
That's what I'm saying to you that yes,
time travel stuff.
Yeah, so those things.
Time travel, right? I think. Do you think that's ever small pursuit to come to purpose?
Look,
Time travel is possible though.
It's not.
So that's one thing I
Time is
think
not-
is
time is
not
not-
possible. I think
it's not
food
physical.
downloading is more possible than
Yeah.
Time travel is not possible.
Time is not possible.
It's
Because
possible.
Time is not. You can't hold time. Time is time.
But it's possible, boys.
Time
Let me know.
It's possible.
Let me know.
It's possible and not possible.
No, not possible.
Technically.
Spiritually,
Come on.
It's possible and not possible.
I think if
but in the Bible, for example, the part where Jesus was on the mount and he saw was it Elijah and Moses.
Moses and
Mhm.
You know that before in the Old Testament, too, Moses and Elijah were on that same mountain. So practically, it was Jesus actually seeing the image of Moses and Elijah. That's time travel.
revelation.
That's
actually like
but they were talking to him. They were talking to
That's
him.
your
Do
revelation.
you understand? They were talking to him. So if you look at the Bible, right, there's a lot of things that actually were just time travel, like especially revelations and all of that. We were just seeing things that will happen in the future.
I think even take it away from the Bible.
So it might not
if you look at things like
I feel like that's more vision
Vision,
than
yeah.
time
more,
travel. Right?
well,
But
so this is why
time travel.
so let me give an instance. Has anyone been to Egypt?
Yeah.
I've heard of things, certain discoveries in Egypt, like buildings that are tens of thousands of feet tall beneath the ground, and they look like they were only built with machineries. They're not things that could have been carved by humans. They look like, and it makes you now wonder, like, okay, how come? Because really, we only started recording time from 2,000 years ago. So there's really we don't really know what has been happening. There's so much. What has been happening before 2,000 years?
That's my point. That in terms of accuracy, we might not even be. We should show all over that we're living in maybe like in God's time. We're living in 1996.
I know, right?
At the end of the day, most of these things are controlled by humans. It's just like UK surprises me a lot. Next thing, we are 1 hour ahead.
So
Next thing, they will say daytime savings. Which one is daytime savings?
I actually think in Nigeria, they are.
So yeah, I was gonna say
there are
that
places that are like
our times are not the same.
Time.
Yes,
We
our
also
times are not the
have
same.
balls, Lord Lucas,
31, 32, 33
Buffalo.
times old. Yes.
Time zones exactly, but everything's.
So at the end of the day,
Just to join.
because I can't imagine calling
humans still
somebody and saying,
Because I once was in a video call with someone. I was in Port Harcourt during Lagos. It was so dark in Port Harcourt. And it was so bright. I was like,
So
the time
now,
zones are-
West there we are was it behind now?
Yeah,
we are like 1 hour behind. But if you go up north, just like that, they feel 1 hour ahead of us, like that. So they usually get dark earlier, the day breaks faster, and all of those type of things like that.
Interesting. It is well. Okay. Thank you very, very much for this insightful conversation. Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. Thank you for being here. The entire team at Urban Central and Online Podcast, we really, really appreciate you. Thank you for sharing your wealth of knowledge. It was great to have you, and we hope that we can do this again sometime. I mean, at a more for a larger scope, because we're looking to one of the things here in online. One of the reasons why we're doing this is to help sensitize the population, saying really, really critical things in the fullest way possible, right? And we're looking to, eventually pivot into doing live shows, and also we hope that we'll be able to have you again sometime. And thank you so much. I hope everyone at home, everyone watching, this has opened your mind to certain possibilities. I'm sure you've heard things that you probably did not know existed.
Sure, time traveling.
Yeah.
Say hi.
You're time traveling, please let us know in the comments. Let's know how you do it, right? Yeah, so feel free to reach us, check us out on all social media platforms, leave your comments, leave your suggestions, send us emails, let's hear from you, let's hear your thoughts. And yes, you can reach out to anybody here through the social medias. They're going to be shown here on the screen. So thank you so much. See you on the next episode. Until then, stay blessed by the best. Cheers.
Alrighty.
Thank you guys. Thank you.